Today in Annapolis, are we facing a new smoking crisis with cannabis? Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Garrett.
And I'm Leah. Welcome to Laid Back Local, the news of the day with Leah and Garrett, reporting from Annapolis. All right, here's where we begin. Potential second smoking crisis looms with cannabis use, warns expert. James Repace, a public health expert, warns that cannabis consumption might lead us down a path similar to the smoking crisis we saw with tobacco. He points out how cannabis combustion produces toxic gases and carcinogens, just like tobacco does. Even though tobacco smoking has declined over the years, with marijuana legalization in many states, we're potentially facing similar health risks. And because cannabis is still classified as a Schedule I drug, research opportunities are limited.
Honestly, that's a solid point. It's surprising to think that even with legalization, cannabis is still a Schedule I drug, right? It kind of hinders the research we need to fully understand its health impacts. I mean, if we're going to use it widely, we should know all the potential risks. Let's dig into this. Next up, Maryland Rep. Elfreth changes stance on defense bill due to National Guard concerns. Repever Sarah Elfreth, representing Maryland's 3rd District, shifted her stance on a major defense bill. Initially, she voted in favor back in July. But with President Trump's deployment of the National Guard in Washington, D.C., and the threat of deploying them in Baltimore, she changed her mind by September. It's interesting how such deployments can influence political decisions.
Real talk, that's fascinating. It really shows how complex political dynamics can be. Deployment decisions can have a massive impact on legislative stances. Can you believe that's even a thing? Okay, let's move on. Controversy surrounds Maryland Handgun Roster Board's approval process. So the Maryland Handgun Roster Board has been approving a whopping 95% of petitions for new handgun models from 2018 to 2024. Critics argue it's acting like a rubber stamp, which raises concerns about oversight and safety. But gun rights advocates say the board is just doing its job and that rejecting reliable firearms goes against the Second Amendment.
That's something to chew on, huh? Especially when you think about that 9mm handgun they approved, the one tied to lawsuits, causing it to fire without a trigger pull. That's a curveball. I think we might need stricter oversight in the approval process. Here we go. Next one. Annapolis mayoral candidates clash over city services and budget priorities. During the recent mayoral debate, Democratic candidates Rhonda Pindell-Charles and Jared Littman had different takes on city services. Pindell-Charles defended the current efforts, citing improvements in green spaces and recruitment for fire and police departments, but she did acknowledge pay issues. Littman criticized the permitting process, proposing more efficient solutions, while Bob O'Shea, the Republican candidate, focused on cutting the city budget by 10% to fund police recruitment.
What a twist. Honestly, addressing pay issues in our fire and police departments is crucial. We need balanced budget priorities to ensure our city services are top-notch. Let's not let this one slide by. All right, on to the next. Annapolis prepares for crucial primary election, key details for voters. So, Annapolis is gearing up for its primary election on September 16th. Registered Democrats will be choosing their candidates for mayor and city council. The current mayor, Gavin Buckley, is term limited. Voters need to apply for an absentee ballot by September 12th, and in-person voting is from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Election Day. Plus, new city ward boundaries will be in effect.
That's a story worth telling. It's interesting that there's no early in-person voting locations. Seems like we're relying heavily on traditional voting and mail-in ballots. Stay curious about how this will play out.
That's it from us on Laid Back Local, the news of the day, with Leah and Garrett, reporting from Annapolis. Have a great day, and join us again tomorrow.